everybody. I'm Nicole, and I am continuing our conversation that we started the other day with some basics about the North Atlantic right whale. Now, with the North Atlantic right whale, I asked you a few questions. I asked you to watch my video, which thank you very much, and I also watched another in relation to the question about why they're important to us and to the environment. What's so important about them. And so this video is going to continue on that discussion and discuss the cycle of what makes them important. But we're going to start with the very basis. We're going to start with the base of the food web, phytoplankton. Now, phytoplankton use photosynthesis to convert the sun rays into energy, and they live close to the water's surface so they can absorb that sunlight. Another benefit of phytoplankton is that they create a carbon sink. When they die, carbon is sequestered deep in the ocean. And by the way, that is critical for mitigating climate change. Talk about carbon credits. They also absorb carbon dioxide and produce oxygen, by the way, which is important to us, all of us humans. Now, phytoplankton are eaten by zooplankton, and zooplankton includes krill, jellyfish, conger eel, and segmented worms, etc. And by consuming phytoplankton, they actually keep the numbers in balance. Too few phytoplankton eaten, we get harmful algae blooms. Now, on the opposite end, too many eaten, and we have a drastic decrease, of course, in that phytoplankton, which leads to a drastic decrease in carbon absorption and levels of oxygen. Now, zooplankton are eaten by right whales, and just so you know, North Atlantic right whales are baleen whales, which means they're filter feeders. They have these baleen plates inside their mouth area, and they filter all the zooplanktons and all of these, as well as phytoplanktons, when they're going through, up to 2,400 pounds a day, you guys, which leads to whale poop loop. Crazy term, but it actually serves a purpose. See, when they eat the zooplankton, they're actually reaching up to the surface of the waters. And every time they come to the surface, they defecate. And that actually feeds phytoplankton and other aquatic species. They're providing nitrogen and iron in that defecation. And that defecation spreads those nutrients both horizontally and vertically across the ocean because they have a very wide range to travel. Let me give you a perspective. When they dive, they go up to 656 feet. Now, normally their food is between the surface and 328 feet, but they do go deep to forage as well. Now, in the range of their travel, talking horizontally, they can go up to 7,000 over 7,000 miles. So think of it this way. They go from Canada to Florida, but they also go from Cape Cod all the way to Norway. So by the way, the distance between Cape Cod and Norway is over 7,000 miles. Check it out for yourself. That's a pretty wide area to be spreading nutrients. So major benefit to our aquatic environment and that biodiversity in there. Now, we're talking about that poop loop. Well, that also leads to them when they're traveling, they also die. It's in life and in death that they're actually benefiting us. When they die in the ocean, we see what is called whale fall. That's when a whale's body will actually fall to the ocean floor. Now, this is so important because whale bodies store carbon, and it doesn't just store it for a short period of time. They store it up to hundreds of thousands of years. And that also creates new habitat for many decades and food source for other aquatic life like octopus. So going through that, and by the way, that also gives more nutrients, and that aquatic life brings it up, and it just starts that whole loop again. And it's really important to us on the whole. So I'd like to hear your thoughts. Did you capture why it's important to us as humans and also to our environment as well as to the ocean? Let me know in your thoughts posted. Thanks so much for listening.